Hey guys, so today we'll be comparing leopard geckos to bearded dragons to figure out which ones is better or just works better for you, because obviously there's not really one that's better than the other. I mean, they can be comparing from one person to another. They change, obviously, but we'll be going through and I'll kind of be figuring out which one I like better because I actually don't really know. But I'll be using 3 points to figure out which ones is technically quote-unquote better for you or for how you would decipher what I'm going to be saying. So we're going to be doing awesomeness, and then we're going to be doing difficulty and how much it costs, because those are 3 big factors when it comes to picking a reptile, because normally you want all of those to be good if you're going to be getting a reptile. So as I said, we're going to be starting off with awesomeness first, and it depends on the person, because I think bearded dragons look cooler, but leopard geckos have a better personality from my experience. It really varies depending on dragon to dragon or gecko to gecko, because my bearded dragon, she is like really lazy. She looks really cool, but most of the time she just sits there and basking under the heat lamp, which is what I want her to do. But she's not gonna have like she doesn't seem like she has much more of a personality than Hosey does. She doesn't really care if I pick her up. I mean, she kind of does. If you watch the other videos, you can see that she's kind of more squirmy than Hosey. But that's because Hosey is my leopard gecko. She is a lot more shy, so that's her biggest personality, and she was kind of fun to work with because she's just so shy. I never really worked with an animal that was like that. On Ghidorah's case though, she was like perfectly fine the moment I got her, and that was really nice. I'm gonna have to say for awesomeness, I actually don't know, because like Ghidorah, she's all scaly and cool, and if you like a scaly reptile, then you're probably gonna think bearded dragons are cooler looking or more awesome than leopard geckos. But personality wise, I think the thing is, if I had Ghidorah that was like, and she had the same personality as Hosey, I'm not sure if I would like that. I guess this one's basically just an opinion. I honestly can't decide. I keep saying I think. Which one would be more awesome? If I would have to choose between Hosey and Ghidorah to have, I think I would choose Ghidorah, but maybe? Like, she looks cool. Like, she looks a lot cooler than Hosey. Like, no offense to Hosey, but she looks cuter than Ghidorah. But does cuter make them more awesome? So Ghidorah, I think Ghidorah wins this round. Okay, so Ghidorah won that round for the awesomeness. So Ghidorah has 1 point. We'll be going on to difficulty now, and then expensiveness. So for difficulty, Ghidorah is definitely harder, but not in a way that it's impossible. Like, she's still a pretty easy reptile to take care of, and she just has more variety of food. Well, not really my bearded dragon, but generally speaking, bearded dragons are a lot harder to take care of than leopard geckos, because leopard geckos, they only eat insects. Bearded dragons eat insects and plants. So you could technically look at it that way. And the way to handle them, I think bearded dragons are harder to, maybe. If you have an angry bearded dragon that likes to bite you, it's going to be harder. Okay, I'm not really getting it anywhere with this video. I'm not really helping anybody. Bearded dragons are easier to handle. Leopard geckos, you have to be a lot more cautious to handle them, and they're a lot smaller, so they can get squished. I mean, I don't know how you would accidentally squish your leopard gecko, but you might drop it, or it might just run out of your hand if it's too afraid. So that's stuff to be looking out for, because you obviously don't want that to happen. And then bearded dragons, on the other hand, they run. Like, when I hold Hosey, I mean, not Hosey, I keep getting confused. When I hold Ghidorah and she doesn't want to be held anymore, she just runs off my arm and just like stands, and she just she likes that. But I can also tell, like, their body language is pretty easy to tell, like when they want to be handled. Ghidorah, like when she wants to be handled, she scratches the glass, which isn't very good. I'm gonna have to figure out how to stop that. But that's kind of her way of telling me that she wants to get out of her cage because she's kind of bored. So I handle her out of there. And then Hosey, she doesn't even want to be handled, I don't think. She's always just hiding. I have to always like search her out to get her to want me to handle her. Or not to want me to handle her, for me to handle her. But then once I do, she's perfectly fine. And I think she's kind of shy, but she gets used to it, and she wanders around. I wouldn't want to get her off of my hand, though, because if she does, then she's kind of runs, and then she's kind of hard to catch and pick back up. But if that does happen, just don't freak out, and you might want to block area for her to get like under your bed, because she almost did that, but luckily I stopped her, so we're good. And then, so yeah, I think that takes up, or talks about the difficulty about the two animals. So I would say bearded dragons are harder to take care of. Leopard geckos are harder to handle. So if you compare the two, would you rather have a hard to take care of, easy to handle, or easy to take care of and hard to handle? I would personally say, like, in all together, Ghidorah is a lot harder. Hosey's actually really easy to take care of, because they don't even need to eat every day. They eat like every other day, or like 4 or 5 times a week. So it's a lot easier to take care of leopard geckos. It's also a lot less pricey to take care of leopard geckos, I believe, or just from my experience. And they're overall a lot easier of a pet because they're smaller, they're easier. And that's going to bring us to the final category, which is the cost. And that kind of varies depending on how you spend your money on your leopard gecko or your bearded dragon. You can obviously go a cheaper route for your bearded dragon, and then it'll end up cheaper than if you go the expensive route for the leopard gecko. Like the tank for the leopard gecko can be a lot cheaper. It can be a 20 gallon. They can stay in a 20 gallon their whole life. But bearded dragons, on the other hand, the bare minimum is a 40 gallon. I want to expand Ghidorah's tank bigger in the future, but I don't really have money right now, so I'm gonna have to wait on that. And then for Hosey's, she can stay in that 40 gallon for the rest of her life. That's a good size for her. And then Ghidorah, like I said, I want to upgrade her. I probably will. Yeah, I'll upgrade her tank. For the price of the animal itself, bearded dragons are going to be definitely more pricey than leopard geckos. But that said, depending on what kind of leopard gecko you get, leopard geckos can range from a huge amount of money. But you can always get just a common leopard gecko, and those are only like $80, maybe $60. I don't really know. Yeah, they're like around that price. But then bearded dragons, a common bearded dragon is going to be quite a bit more than a common leopard gecko. And you can get different kinds of bearded dragons as well, and those are obviously going to be more pricey. So leopard geckos in and of itself are more expensive than bearded dragons of just the actual animal. But then for the enclosure, which I already kind of talked about, leopard gecko's enclosure is more expensive than the bearded dragons. Bearded dragons is more expensive than leopard gecko. And it's kind of easy to figure out which one's going to be more expensive, because bearded dragon's bigger, there's going to be bigger stuff, there's going to be more expensive stuff. So this round basically goes to the leopard gecko. And the lighting is a little bit different. Leopard geckos don't need UVB lighting. Well, on the other hand, bearded dragons do. But I would have UVB lighting for both reptiles just to be safe, because you kind of want that. And then leopard geckos also want 3 hides though, so that's going to be more expensive than bearded dragons that don't really need 3 hides. You can still get them 3 hides, but they don't need it as much because they like to bask. They don't really like to hide as much, because Ghidorah never hides. She has a hide that she can hide under, but she never does because she just likes to sit on the hammock and just bask. But then Hosey, I keep getting confused. Hosey, she always hides. She never basks. Unless she does. No, she doesn't. She never basks. So hides are a lot more of a must for leopard geckos than for bearded dragons, and that's why it's going to be more expensive for the leopard geckos, because hides cost money. They're not free, so there's that. But overall, leopard geckos are still a lot more cheaper than bearded dragons, because the hides, you can still buy them for like a couple bucks each. It's not a big deal, but yeah, leopard geckos are cheaper than bearded dragons. If that's what you want to know, they are not more expensive. The food for them, I think Hosey's is a lot. Yeah, Hosey's food is cheaper, I believe. Actually, no. Yeah, Hosey's food is not cheaper. Because I buy like 500 mealworms and then other bugs at like the same time. That equals up to like kind of expensiveness. Not really. I don't know what you would count for expensive. But it's like $30 to get like a few months worth of food, or like probably more. I didn't calculate anything, so I'm kind of sorry for that. But then Ghidorah's is easier. Like my bearded dragon eats pellets because she will not eat plants. You can watch my other video on why my bearded dragon doesn't eat plants, but she doesn't. So, but the pellets are pretty cheap. They're only like $15 for like a little container, and those last a little bit because I also feed her insects to give her nice protein along with her pellets. So that's what she uses. So if I were to, Hosey's is more expensive. So who won difficulty? Or who lost it? Who was more difficult? Yeah, Ghidorah was more difficult. So Ghidorah had won the awesomeness one. She lost the difficulty one, and then Hosey won the. I didn't write a script for this video, as you can probably tell. That's why it's not very good. But I was too lazy to make a script, so you got it. I mean, you deal with it. Ghidorah won the first one, Hosey won the second one, and then Hosey won the third one. So the only thing the Leopard Gecko didn't win was the first one, which was awesomeness. And if you really care about awesomeness, because who doesn't want an awesome reptile? But if that's like the #1 category, then you would probably pick your bearded dragon over the Leopard Gecko, even though Leopard Gecko is supreme over, it's cheaper and the difficulty is not really there for the Leopard Gecko. But for bearded dragon it is, but it looks really cool. So I guess in the conclusion of this video, if I would I rather have Ghidorah or Hosey? I think I would have Ghidorah, but that's also because I had Ghidorah longer, so maybe she has a lot more sentimental value for her. But I think she looks a lot cooler than Hosey, I'm not gonna lie. But then again, Hosey looks cute, but that doesn't count as awesomeness, I don't think. As you can kind of tell, I'm kind of a bit more like jittery and kind of messing up a lot, or like stumbling my words, because I'm not using a script. I probably will in the next video, but I didn't use one in this video, as I already said before. But yeah, this was a confusing video that maybe you learned something from. I'm the Reptile Guy. Thanks for watching.